Hi, this is Sean, back again with All Things Black. I have a new friend here.
Hi, I am Doechii, an aspiring influencer and creator. How are
Can
you?
you? Oh, sorry. I was going to tell you. Actually, can you tell us your stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
my Instagram, my social media.
Yeah.
My Instagram is Iamdoechii. It's IamDoechii, and you can find my music on all platforms under the same name. My Twitter is Iamdoechii, and so is my YouTube.
Okay. We'll drop it under there. So definitely. Me and Jayla are going to talk about colorism today. So our first question is, what does the word colorism mean to you?
Colorism to me is prejudice against a particular skin color for whatever subjective reason it is to that person.
Okay. What do you believe are some examples of colorism?
I can give a personal example, like um, when I was younger, I was, I was perceived as less beautiful because I was dark skinned, um, less educated as well in certain scenarios, or it was almost like if somebody did say that I was beautiful, they would say like, you're beautiful for a dark skinned woman, meaning that I now get cool points because I surprised them. I exceeded their expectations of being beautiful and dark. Yeah.
Okay. You hear that you're pretty for a dark skinned girl a lot.
Yes.
That's uh, I don't even know why somebody would think that was a compliment.
Okay.
Um, okay, why do you believe people have negative attitudes about dark skin and light skin? If you think people do have attitudes about negative attitudes about light.
Yeah, I think it goes both ways. I find that a lot of lighter women are highly sexualized, and I find that a lot of darker people, women, men, it doesn't matter, are highly demonized. And I think that just dates back into history. I and it's seen in all types of cultures.
Yeah.
That darker is a negative association. I think that's a social thing that has stemmed from years and years and years of oppression and
Yeah.
enslavement, and just that mentality is now affecting the nation, and not even just the nation, just globally, all over.
Okay. All right. What role do you believe traditional media has in promoting color stereotypes?
What role?
Yeah. So, like for me, I would say it's like, oh, were you about to say something?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I just thought you still thinking. Okay. Um, for me, I would say it's like how in shows, I guess you always have like the dark skinned husband, but you have the light skinned wife, or like with the kids, it's maybe like a dark skinned son, but it's like a mixed or lighter skinned daughter.
Yeah.
Um, I think about like I guess even in movies. I feel like you're more likely to see a racially ambiguous or light skinned black person, in the movies than a dark skinned person. In songs, um, it's always something to do with a red bone or um, it does talk about like music talks about light skinned girls a lot.
Yeah, I think that over time, what is socially praised, what is socially celebrated, is what people will perceive as good or better or smarter or prettier, whatever. So, because for years and years and years, for example, Eurocentric features
Yeah.
were highly praised and highly celebrated, people perceive that as the standard of beauty.
Yeah.
And I think that when you think about how dark skinned women, how black people in general are perceived in media, you have to consider who's at the top behind that media and what do they want the people to see. And I think that the role that traditional media plays with, what was the end of the question?
In promoting color stereotype.
In promoting colorist stereotypes, I think that role is a major influential role on how they want the nation to perceive us.
Hmm.
and therefore that's how we're perceived.
Okay, that's a good point. 'Cause I mean, they are the people who usually control, everything. So, yeah, that's a really good point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What role do you believe colorism plays in dating and marriage? Yeah, I know.
That's a good question. In dating and marriage,
If you think it plays a role, some people don't think it plays a role.
I think it does, but it's also subjective. It depends on the person.
Mhm.
So like, here, can you give me an example? Like, give me an answer of yours, because that's
Yeah.
hard.
What role do I think it plays in dating and marriage? Okay, so I like one. I've seen a statistic from a man who said, I'll tell you his name. Here it is, Dr. Derek Hamilton, a professor of economics and sociology at Ohio State, did a study that said that among high status husbands, among high status husbands, 55% married light skinned women while 23% married dark skinned women, according to his research. And then I did a study on YouTube, and I found that the 46.6% preferred to date lighter women, and 6% brown skin, 21% dark skin. And then for the men, it was like the complete opposite. Like 50% preferred to date dark skinned black men, and like it was like 20% preferred to date um, lighter skinned black men.
Hmm.
So my assessment is that I mean, and even some women were in it, that people prefer to date light skinned. Now I don't want to. I don't want to say, it's everybody, but
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, that's my assessment. So I feel that people are, and I even saw a guy say on one of the videos that he likes to have sex with light skinned women he's gonna marry. Like he's like saying it in like a complimenting, like almost like, okay, I mean,
That's so
we don't want you after you ran through, okay?
okay.
But
Wow.
yeah, that's what he said.
And I mean, I'm just sitting here asking myself, like, why is that? Because I I'll share a preference of my own. Like, I see myself marrying, being with, being impregnated by a dark skinned man.
Yeah.
And I sometimes I ask myself, is that colorist of me? Because I'm not even attracted really to lighter skinned guys. And I prefer dark skinned women or dark skinned men. And I ask myself, why is that? Is it because it's just like the way that I look and I want somebody who replicates what I look or what my father looked like or what my mother looked like? Or, why is that?
So I think I feel like that would detail the difference between like colorism and preference, I guess. Well, I mean, no, 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 because if you just don't like them at all, I mean, it really, if the reason is that I feel like if you say they look like me, they look like my parents,
Mhm.
that's different than saying, oh, I don't like dark skinned women because they are aggressive.
Right, like being you're just anti that color. Like, I'm not anti
Yeah,
light skinned men.
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
prefer dark skinned men.
Yeah, I think there's a difference. I think there's definitely a difference than saying I want somebody to look like me. I want somebody to look like my family. If that's the reason why.
Right. Like, you have to, I feel like once you get to the point where you start associating a person's
With the,
social status, intelligence with the color of their skin, that's when it's like, okay,
yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah,
I think so. When it's like, oh, all people like this act that way.
right.
Yeah, and it would even be. I would argue that it would even be. I don't like these colors, so I'm referring to like people. I would argue that even it would even be discriminatory to say, um, I mean, I don't date light skinned men because they're feminine. I mean, really, that's still kind of colorism because you're saying that dark people are masculine.
Yeah.
It's both females and males. So what are you
Correct.
saying?
What are you saying?
So, okay, all right. So our next question is, what do you believe is the difference? Okay, we kind of talked about this. What do you believe is the difference between colorism and preference? Is there one?
That's so tough. Because I know we just talked about it briefly, but still it's tough.
Yeah.
Um, let me start here. Let me look up the definition of a preference because I really want to answer this question like
Okay.
accurately. Okay, so a preference is a greater liking for one alternative over another or others. I think it's possible to have a preference without being prejudiced.
Okay.
So, like I was saying, if you prefer, like if I for example, prefer dark skinned men, not because I think they are more intelligent, not because I think they are stronger or anything like that. I'm not dehumanizing them. It preference to me is really just oh my god, this is so hard.
No, I like the way you're answering it. Okay.
Yeah. So I think the difference between like colorism and preference is just that with colorism, you start to your preference starts to become prejudiced towards somebody else's skin color. Like it's when your preference becomes anti whatever and you start generalizing a group of people based on their skin tone and assuming everybody is associated with whatever you think for whatever reason.
Okay. So you would say preference is, just a general liking of one thing over another, and colorism is more like anti-black or
Correct.
anti-light,
Preferences I prefer
I
this over
guess.
that, but I
Yeah.
don't completely block that out. You know what I mean? Like I'm
Right.
not
No, I do.
saying never marry a light skinned man. You never know what happens. I still
Right.
open to the idea. But when
Right.
you a colorist person is just like never, no.
Right. Okay. No, I get that. Okay. All right. Um. Okay. I could agree with that. Okay. Because at first I'm like, okay, I was like, I literally can't think of I haven't heard.
Mhm.
Well, I feel like that's a little different for men and women because sometimes mostly from what I've seen, when women talk about why they prefer like dark skinned men, I would say that like half of their reasons are, I feel like are discriminatory, but the other half are like, okay, I'm dark skinned, I want a dark skinned man, I want a baby profile. Okay, because I want them to look like me. But then I feel like for the men, um, or for my study, like you ask them what they prefer. I mean, they use it as a time to just. It's never just I prefer
Mhm.
light skin. It's always a slew of why they don't like dark skin.
Correct.
I feel like it's hard not to think that most people who say they prefer light skin are not colored. So
I agree.
maybe if I heard a good reason, like like what you said. Then again, like you said, because I'm dark skinned, when I hear like for my study, when I hear a lighter person say because I'm light skinned, I want a light skinned wife, it makes me think of like, back in the day, like the 60s, 50s with like the blue vein societies and people who wouldn't allow they didn't want their light skinned children to marry out, and it wasn't considered. If you were a light skinned person, you were supposed to marry another light skinned person in order to keep your genes
Yeah.
alive. So now when I hear that, it's kind of like,
Mhm.
so it's really difficult. It's really difficult. Yeah, it's a complex thing.
It is.
Okay.
I think that because I was just talking to my sister about this. I think that like people have to hold themselves accountable because just because like say for instance just because you're a light skinned man and you prefer dark skinned women and you say you don't like light skinned women, I'm gonna question, you know what I'm saying? Like I have
Your
to like
motivations.
well, why? You know, it's
Uh,
it's touchy. Like I'm curious. Do you have a preference? Of,
no. Well, if I'm talking about like getting married, I prefer more like no. Actually, for sure,
I don't know. Maybe that's something that like I'll have to explore. Just you're giving me a lot to think about. I just want to explore like preferences. Why do we have them? Are they necessary? You know, where does it stem from? Like I've asked myself all the time, why do I prefer? Because while you were talking, I was like, well, why do I prefer like a dark skinned man? And I
yeah,
think because like I feel in a way that they can relate more to me, and I can relate more to them. And the reason why I say that is because I feel like if we're both dark skinned, at least you share the same. This sounds so sad, but you share the same, like, I guess, trauma or like the same hardships that I shared, I would assume. And I don't know. I think that's one reason. And it's the truth. Like I'm being completely honest with you right now.
well, here's my issue. I feel like a lot of them don't necessarily feel
Yep.
that way,
Yep.
and like, and you would think I feel like it should be more like okay, but like we do share this, the
Yeah.
same.
The same
So
experience. Like I
yeah,
would want to be with a man who shared the same experiences that I, have experienced as well. But I do find that not all, but there
not
is
all.
a majority of like darker skinned men that I kind of feel like low key have some insecurities and self hatred.
Yeah, yeah. Especially in my study, I saw so many of them say, you know, as far as they talked about their babies, I'm already black. I, or they'll say reason why they want a dark girl, I'm already black, or reason why they don't want a dark girl, they don't want black baby.
Right. Like it's a burden.
Exactly. So that's I feel like that's more a reflection of them rather than what they don't like in women.
Correct.
So,
Correct, girl.
all right. Okay. Um. All right. So, how do you believe gender intersects with color?
Hmm. I was about to say it doesn't, but it does. How?
Do you want me to tell you how I think it does?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I think it intersects by with Okay. So, if we were talking about in like institutions like the criminal justice system or getting jobs or um, etc stuff like that, then um, lighter skinned men are seen as more palatable and you know less threatening, and people they're more likely to be hired. In the criminal justice system, lighter skinned women are receive lesser sentences than darker skinned black women. Um, with as far as with school suspension rates, darker skinned black girls have a higher suspension rate than lighter skinned black girls. Okay, so then if you talk about like with dating, it's a little funny because you have like the light skinned black women that are preferred in dating and marriage, and you have the darker skinned black men who are preferred in dating and marriage. So I think it intersects in that light skin is tied with femininity, and dark skin is tied with masculine. So yeah.
Correct. That's definitely, you hit it right on the nail, and that's exactly it.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay. So, all right. So, my next question is, do you think colorism is institutionalized? As in, I think kind of already covered this. Do you think it affects like job status, socioeconomic status? things like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. A lot of people, will think it only. They'll be like, "Oh, it's just preference." They think colorism just means like dating preferences and don't really get like the real life, social implications of having darker skin for how white people look at, and how black people do as well.
Hmm.
Yeah. All right. Do you have any experiences, personal experiences with colorism?
You said with colorism?
Yes.
Let me dig in my files. Yeah. I remember when I was in the third grade, there was this boy who used to always bully me. He just hated me for some reason. I don't even think he knew my name. He just messed with me every single day. And he would always just tell me I'm black, I'm ugly, I'm this. And the thing is, he was darker than me. And so looking back on it as an adult, I can tell he was just projecting whatever somebody was telling him onto me. But he would just bully me every single day. And I remember one particular day I was in class and I always had good grades. I was always on top of my education. And he was just like, "You talk like a white girl, like you think you white, but you not, you black, you ugly, you this, you," I mean, just like going in on me. And he spit in my face. Hmm. He spit in my face.
What's his information?
Oh, yes.
What's his
I,
information?
I have no clue where he
I
is.
just need. I just want to talk.
Yeah, it was like really intense. Like he spit in my face. And I will never forget that day. And it was just, it didn't stop. Like he was just always messing with me. But that's an experience with colorism. Just, getting angry at me because he assumed because I'm dark that I'm supposed to be less smart. And then also, I don't even, girl, yeah. Woo, her face.
I'm.
Yeah, like I was the scum of the earth.
I don't think my kid's gonna go to school. Oh my goodness. I mean, yeah, that was just. I mean, that was really just the hate you give. I mean, whatever was being said to him at home, he's just repeating it at school,
Correct.
or whatever other people were saying to him.
Right. That's exactly what it was. Looking back at it, like just I can remember his facial expressions and just how he was so consistent with. I could tell that somebody was telling him that, and he didn't have the best grades, and I think he got held back even. So it was just like somebody was telling him those things, and he was projecting it onto me. And I think he just envied the fact that I didn't fit the mold that he assumed I was supposed to fit in.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So somebody was. It sounds like somebody was, belittling him about his grades, his skin. Um, it's like you want to be mad at people for doing stuff like that, but on the other hand, you're like, man, it's just self hate.
It is. It is. And when you're a child and you're projecting that in such an angry way to the point where you spit in somebody's face, I mean, we're in third grade, we're kids.
Yeah,
With
that is.
that much hatred in your heart, I know something was going on at home. Gotta be.
All right. So our last two questions, they're just together. We'll just put them together. They are, who is responsible for ending the cycle of colorism, and do you think it'll ever end?
Who is responsible? There's so many different levels because to a point, it's like, I think on the surface level, I want to say us as individuals have to hold ourselves accountable for colorism, but there's so many years of such a large global influence of colorism and
Mhm.
why people are colorists today that I want to say the people up top behind the cameras, behind those companies, all these, a lot of Eurocentric, a lot of white owned networking and television and media companies and things. There's just a lot of people up top are not our color,
Yeah.
and that influences how we're perceived. So I want to say they're held accountable, but I think we are too Do I think it will ever end? Completely no.
Yeah.
No, I don't. Not completely.
I saw this thing in a book. It said as racism wanes, colorism persists. And I feel like that's kind of true because, like, nowadays, like, of course, people are still racist, but, like, I feel like people are a little more anonymous behind their racism. And also, if you are publicly racist, your life is, like, ended. It's,
Yeah.
like, more socially frowned upon to be, like, racist now. But people will go on camera and say, no, I don't want no crybaby like boy or no dark baby. Like, publicly
Yep.
on camera.
Yep.
Knowing it's gonna be posted on YouTube.
Mhm.
So I feel like it's actually more acceptable to be colorist.
I agree. I think it is as well. Girl.
Well, we sound hopeful.
Okay. It's just real, right? It's just
Yeah,
that's what's going
yeah,
on now. But I think that like our generation has done and people like to frown upon the millennials so much, but I think our generation has done a really good job of not making a lot of things cool. We
I,
don't make discriminating against gay people cool. We don't make discriminating against black people cool. None of that is cool anymore.
I agree.
And I
Yeah,
think that if we continue that progressive attitude and we continue to have these discussions, like Twitter has like elevated my mind on so many different levels.
yeah,
If we
yeah,
continue that, I think things will eventually get better. But there's always a bad seed, and I think somebody's always going to be colorist or racist.
yeah. And even Twitter has like evolved. As far as like so I'm looking into like Twitter and stuff too, but like what people say now about certain skin tones compared to what they said, even 3 or 4 years ago, is very, very, very different.
Yep.
And what you're allowed to say now compared to what you could say even 3 or 4 years ago is very, very, very different. Now,
Yes.
you might can say it, but somebody is coming into your mentions about
Correct.
it.
Correct. Can I
Yeah.
say? I know. I don't know if the interview is over at this point or if you're going to edit this out, but I just want
I have to edit a lot of it out because I went and ramble about a couple of
to.
things, but no, don't worry.
um, like I I remember I posted something, and for a long time I've been feeling like because it's not socially acceptable to hate dark skinned women, a lot of like men will go on Twitter, on these Twitter rants and on social media and be like, oh, black girl magic, dark skin this, we love them, repost them, they're so beautiful. The pictures of the girls who be covered in oil and like they're making flowers in their hair, what I'm saying? We love our African queens, but I feel like in real life y'all don't really fuck with us.
No, I completely agree. The social media love and the real life love is not the same thing. No, it's not the same thing. People will say all this stuff on social media, but no, I feel like a lot of the new, because I was like looking in like the burst of like 2000, especially 2018, 2019. Like I looked at some of the tweets and I'm just like, wow, the energy is a lot more positive now. Where did the positive energy come from?
Right.
So
Right.
I'm kind of questioning that too. I'm like, is this fake? Because I really don't think it translates to real life. I really don't.
Me neither, girl.
I don't, I don't see it.
It was insane. And when I tweeted that, I remember this guy and he started scanning his stuff. He came into my DM and he was just like, you feel that way because you still don't love yourself and you haven't let go of the trauma and and like, no, you should be grateful that You telling me I should be grateful because these men are tweeting this, but it's not reciprocated in real life. So you're basically telling me be grateful for the crumbs that we give you. And then he proceeded to end it with, and let me tell you, you're a beautiful girl, and that's important coming from me because I'm picky. I was just think, lucky me, right? Oh, it's just so.
Okay, first, I feel like a lot of people, if you say something about colorism, their response is, you need to love your. listen, even if I do love myself, that will not change. Okay, the system of colorism, that will not change people's ideas about seeing women. Me loving myself has absolutely nothing to do with the outside world. That is so annoying to hear. Love yourself. Like, what is loving myself going to do about the environmental factors? I can have so much love, but
It's still colorism going on. It's still
right. Then if I love myself and y'all still hate me, and then I, don't love myself as much anymore,
it's just yeah.
that is not. I hate that.
Yeah, same.
You need to love yourself more. No, I'm just speaking out on what I see and
Right.
what
I'm
is
calling
being
you
bad.
out.
Yeah, exactly. That's the issue. People don't like to be called out.
Don't. It's the accountability. They don't want to take accountability. It's
Yeah.
like you really have to do that because I'm telling you, I was talking to my sister about this, and I was literally asking her. I was like, "Are my views colorist? And if they are, I want to address it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's anything wrong with. First, you have to be honest and accept the fact that this is what it is, and these are how your views are, and then you need to ask yourself why. Where does that stem from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to do the work. You have to do the work. And I would say for like dark skinned people who have, like men especially who have, said these things, I feel like a lot of them should, look into themselves and do the work. I feel like there's a lot of there's forgiveness available in the community. Yeah. Um, it's just the ones I don't like. Like I saw this guy on video. He was like, she asked him what he preferred. He was like, brown skin girls. My girlfriend changed my opinion. Okay, he would be single. All right, that he would be completely single.
Okay.
Okay, I don't want to change your opinion.
Lucky me.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, oh, she's the love of my life, and she really changed my opinion. Like that's not a honor.
It's
I
not.
first. I'm tired.
Okay. This was a good talk, though. This was really good.
Yeah, this is good talk. All right, so this is Sean again with All Things Black, and
I am Doechii.
okay, thank y'all for watching.